Hello, grade 5 students. We're going to do a short lesson on building bar graphs. We're going to start by building a regular bar graph. Then we're going to build a double bar graph. Now first I need some data. And my data for the graph looks like this. The question is, which type of phone do you prefer? iPhone or Android? And you can see I've got a total column here. 23 people chose iPhone, 18 people chose Android. Now let's draw a bar graph for this. I don't want to draw a really big bar graph for this. I want to keep it rather small. It's just 2 bars. And I look at my data and I realize I have to go up to at least 23. So that means I have to go up to 25. I could count. I need to determine a scale for a vertical axis for this graph. So I'm going to draw on a vertical axis. I take my ruler. I draw on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 squares there. So 10 squares. Now if I have 10 squares and I go up by 2s, it'll only take me up to 20. 10 times 2 is 20. And I need to go up to 24. So I'm going to add on a couple more squares on the bottom. So I can start at 2 and 0, work my way up by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Now every axis needs a title or a label. This axis is the number of people. So I'm going to write that on. You can see it right there. There's the number of people. Now I need a horizontal axis. And this horizontal axis is not going to be very big because I only have 2 bars to put on it. And I'm going to put on it, I'm going to label it type of phone. All right, now I have to draw on my 2 bars. iPhone goes up to 23, and 23 is right between 22 and 24. So I'm going to put my ruler up there and draw it on. Draw that down. There's my for iPhone. Now in a bar graph, there has to be a gap between the bars. So Android is then going to go right here. And I use the grid lines on my grid paper notebook to easily draw the second bar. Now, I'm going to color these, shade these in. Different colors. iPhone, I'm using pink. Now, I'm just doing a rough shading because it's in my notebook. If you're doing this for a test or for an assignment or for someone else to look at, you do a better job of shading. I'm almost done. I need to write down, label this bar, Android. And I need to put a title. And my title is just my question. Which type of phone do people prefer? Which type of phone do people prefer? There. That's my bar graph. A bar graph is good for representing totals. But now, I can break down those totals into different groups. If you look, I've broken those totals down into 2 groups. Teens and adults. So for teens, 17 teens chose iPhone and 8 teens chose Android. For adults, 8 adults chose iPhone, 10 adults chose Android. So now I'm going to show this data on a double bar graph. So I'm going to have a bar for Android and a bar for iPhone. and we're going to actually have 2 bars for iPhone and 2 bars for Android. Now, when we look at this data here, the highest I have to go up to is 17. So I don't even have to go quite as high as this graph did. But I'm going to build my new graph. I'm going to draw on a vertical axis. I'm going to start it at 0, and I'm going to go up by 2's again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. That's as high as I need to go. 20, and 22. And this is still number of people. Every axis needs a label. Now I'm going to draw a horizontal axis. And I'm going to write down type of phone again. All right, now I'm going to do the iPhone first. The teens for the iPhone is up to 17. So I'm going to make a bar for the teens at 17. So I put my ruler down, and I make a bar for the teens at 17. So that one's teens. Now teens, I'm going to do in the color purple. And then this is my iPhone section. iPhone. So I'm going to put my adults bar for the iPhone right next to it. Now, because these are both bars for the iPhone, there is no gap between the bars. So my adults iPhone's at 8. Draw the bar. And adults gets a different color. I'm going to make them green. So there's my iPhone. You can see the teens like iPhone more than the adults. Now, Android, I need to leave a gap before I do my Android bar. So my Android bar goes up to 8 for teens. So I draw on my bar for 8. And I colored in purple, just like the teens for the iPhone. And then I draw a bar up to 10 for the adults. And I went a little bit too far on that bar down. And I shade this in green, just like the iPhone. Okay, now there's 2 things I'm still missing from this. I have my vertical axis with its scale and its label. I have my horizontal axis with its label. I've got iPhone, but I need to write down Android. I do not have a main title. So this is a comparison of who likes iPhones and Android, and we're talking about teens and adults. It's a long title. Who likes iPhones and Android? Teens and adults. So we're comparing the teens and the adults. Now, there's one more thing I don't have on this. I have my main title, my vertical axis title, my horizontal axis title. I have my scale. I have my bars all neatly colored. I need a legend for this. So I need to tell everybody what the purple means and what the green means. The purple means teens. The green means adults. This box right here, this information right here is called the legend or the key. A double bar graph needs a legend or a key. So a double bar graph is used to compare two groups. In this case, we're comparing the teens and the adults, and who likes iPhones and Android phones more. And you can see from the data that teens like iPhone more than adults like Android more than teens. Okay, I hope you followed along and you drew these graphs out and you got some practice. In your handout, there is some more data for you to practice drawing simple bar graphs like this. If you have any questions, make sure you contact me as soon as possible. And thank you for watching.